If there's a Kiddush in shul on Shabbos morning, which of course happens a great deal, must there be mezonos available to either the rabbi or the person who makes Kiddush, or even more than that, to the whole tzibur, to everybody who is hearing the Kiddush and then going to eat? And often it happens that there is not mezonos, that there's a lot of food, but no crackers or anything like that. This is a question asked by one of our rabbis in Milwaukee. And as said, this happens all the time, and people are not sensitive to the idea that Kiddush b'makom seuda requires that there be at least, the assumption is, some mezonot. Now, perhaps it's enough that the rabbi have the mezonot, but that's not true. The Shulchan Aruch paskins that in order for it to be Kiddush in the place of a seuda, every person who wants to be yotzei, it has to be their seuda. They have to eat something that constitutes a meal. And this is a general teaching, education that we have to do. Even if there are crackers, people don't assume they have to eat from it. So if they want to be yotzei, this is what they have to do. But what if we're not educating that way, we don't have mezonos available, what's the story? Now, it's possible we are relying on the position of the Gaonim. The Gaonim say you don't need mezonos, you can even have fruit, and then they go further to say you can even have wine. So the wine of Kiddush would count as makom seuda. There's only two problems. Number one, Mishnah Berurah says you can only rely on that b'shas hadachak, if it's a very exigent circumstance. And number two, it would only apply to the person drinking the cup of Kiddush. And in addition, many shitot say that that's wine in addition to the cup of Kiddush. So that means that if people want to use that, they have to drink wine. Or you could say what else they're eating in Kiddush constitutes like fruit. All right, maybe we can rely on the Gaonim that that's a meal. But the best approach, if we want to not demand mezonot, is Rav Moshe Feinstein. And Rav Moshe Feinstein says that there are two aspects to Kiddush. One is that allows us to eat, that we're not just eating on Shabbos without a sanctified context. And the other is that the meal of Shabbos has to be shaped and opened by Kiddush. And he says, if you want to eat, you don't need makom seuda. Make Kiddush and eat whatever you want. However, if you want to be yotzei Kiddush, you have to do it b'makom seuda. So you make Kiddush in shul, you eat what you want, you go home, and you have to know to make Kiddush again. Don't say, oh, I already made Kiddush. And then you have Kiddush b'makom seuda, and then you fulfill the mitzvah of Kiddush. So I would not rely on this lichatchila. I'm very careful to have mezonot, but it's a powerful way of defining what Kiddush b'makom seuda is. It seems to go against a lot of the poskim, but you have the authority of Rav Moshe Feinstein to rely on and to say that we can make Kiddush without mezonot and still enjoy the Kiddush offered by the shul. Shabbat Shalom, enjoy your Kiddush.